Labour landscape, which remains in high attention in terms of unemployment, which is still a grave concern. Now, it comes amid minimal prospects of improved job creation given slow economic growth. Research by Pnet has revealed that the local job market activity dropped by 11% in the last quarter of 2022. Meanwhile, employment offers have increased by 6% and there's been a 30% growth in jobs. For more on this, we speak to Pnet Head of Data Insights, Paul Bryne. Paul, thank you so much for your time. Of course, the research that has been released by Pnet is in contrast somewhat to the data that we recently got from Stats SA. Talk to us about the differences there, particularly around job creation in the current economic landscape.
Absolutely. Good morning. Thank you, Tumi-san. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. So yes, the data has come from Pnet, and just to put that in perspective, what we do at Pnet is provide a jobs platform to the recruitment industry, and we are tracking the supply and the demand, the jobs that are being advertised and the volumes of applicants that are coming through in terms of applying for those jobs. So 100% correct. We've seen a marked decrease or a slowing in the jobs economy over the last quarter of last year. So that's the 11% fall off that you've seen quarter on quarter. Just to then, on a point of correction, the 6% that you were talking about is the growth that we've seen over the same period of the previous year. So when we're looking at quarter 4 21 to quarter 4 2022, we've still seen that growth of 6%. Now, if we put things in perspective, yes, we are seeing this headwind that's come into the jobs market, but let's not forget that we saw rapid growth in terms of hiring activity during the first 3 quarters of last year. So that was pretty unprecedented, and even if we take sort of our numbers back to 2020, we saw a 30% growth between quarter 4 2020 and quarter 4 2022.
As we find ourselves in a brand new year, what's the near-term outlook? Because not much really has changed in the South African economy. In particular, there are forecasts of even slower economic growth and a decline in business activity.
That's right. And looking at business confidence, we can see that's also trending the same way. So we've got that decline in that business confidence. And I think that's exactly what's driving the slower jobs hiring activity. Companies are wanting just to be careful about what it is where they're planning to actually go forwards in terms of their development. That said, what we are seeing is that the types of jobs that are showing activity are your business and management jobs. You've got your admin, office and support jobs, your sales, your finance and your IT jobs. Those are still showing some good demand for talent to join companies.
And that becomes important to those who have just matriculated, looking to further their studies, or have just completed their field of study in those faculties. What's to be said about the landscape currently being ripe and open to receive such candidates?
Yeah, looking across that section of the areas that I said there has been that growth, or that is still that demand. A lot of those positions are quite well suited to young talent coming into the market, and you think about it specifically in the admin, office or support type space. Your positions of your admin clerks, your switchboard operators, receptionists, your clients and customer support, even getting into HR and personal assistants. Those are good opportunities for youngsters to actually start getting their foot into the door in terms of employment. Even when we look at finance type roles, your bookkeeping, your junior financial people, your project accountants, good opportunities there. And then sales. For me, personally, sales is always such a good grounding in terms of further career prospects, and there are good opportunities within sales at the moment. And then, obviously, we've got the all-pervasive IT industry, and I think, with the acceleration that we've seen over the last few years in terms of the demand for that type of skill, it is for those that have got the capacity, the propensity to get into that kind of degree, that is certainly a future-proof type of qualification or experience that they can start getting if they get into that world of work.
Quite interesting that some of those traditional careers remain, those that are absorbing jobs and safer career options in relation to what is known as jobs for the future. We know that there are serious developments when it comes to the energy space, and that is going to need bodies in jobs. How do those two correlate?
Yeah, very much so. I think what we're seeing is just there is that opportunity here in South Africa, but worldwide there's definitely been an acceleration into the fourth industrial revolution. The types of the jobs that are going to be in the future are really, it is your IT type jobs. It's your human-based jobs, which are going to be your wellness type practitioners, your caregivers, even your fitness instructors. And of course, you mentioned the all-important environmental type jobs. So there's definitely big opportunity for that coming up into the future. But yes, when we're looking at the admin jobs, and I suppose it's the switchboard and reception jobs, that type of role is taking on a different sort of mix of the type of skills that are required for that kind of position. So it's no longer just the switchboard operator that's answering the phone and redirecting calls or whatever the case may be. I think that has changed fundamentally. But as we're working into this future world of work, we're seeing that those core skills are changing, and that what is naturally happening is people are getting re-skilled to be able to take on those opportunities of the future.
What's needed then to ensure that South Africa and the labour landscape capitalizes on what could be growth at an accelerated pace, because we have historic unemployment that is quite stubborn in terms of being at a reduction rate. Both the state and private business have been struggling to get these numbers down.
Absolutely. I mean, especially if we're looking within that space of the youth coming into the job market, we're looking at literally, 59.6% of youth are unemployed at the moment. That's 6 out of every 10 person that's entering or has the ability to enter the job market is out of work at the moment. So that's such an important question that you raised. And I think, for me, the key is how do we actually identify those skills that those people need to be able to get the foot in the door that are going to open up employment prospects into the future. And it all comes back down to the foundations of education and that preparedness of people to actually be able to take on these roles. And specifically, if you look at your sort of STEM type qualifications, I know there's been a lot of conversation about it and a lot of action about this, but we have to do more to make sure through the science, the technology, the engineering, the mathematics, and even the computer sciences type qualifications. We need to get people better prepared for that, because those youth that are coming into the job market today, and specifically with those skills, are our problem solvers of the future. They're the people that need to be able to take data, they need to be able to do research, and they need to understand what problems they can actually solve with this with the technology that we've got available to us today, and is going to accelerate in terms of the smartness, the intelligence of that into their future world of work.
Thank you so much for that thought-provoking conversation. Pnet Head of Data Insights, Paul Bryne, talking to us about trends, the landscape in the labour market in South Africa, as well as the near-term trajectory.